Hello, I'm Cam Johnson, Public Affairs Manager for Cox Communications. I'd like to welcome you to this special episode of Across the Gulf Coast. It's been a while since our last episode, and a lot has happened here up and down the Emerald Coast. Most notably, Hurricane Sally came across the Perdido Key area and throughout Escambia County in September, and it put a strain on our community that was already strained from COVID and everything else that's going on this year. So we've had a lot of residents that have been in need. So in this episode, we're going to talk to a couple of nonprofits and find out how they've responded to Sally in ways they've been helping the community throughout the year, really, not just Sally, but with COVID and everything else. And joining me first to talk about that is Dee Dee Flaunbacker. She is with Manna Food Pantry here in Pensacola. Dee Dee, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it, Cam.
Absolutely. It's been a while since you guys have been on, so I know y'all been very busy. You're always busy, but this year has been a little bit different for everybody, obviously, and I know you guys are seeing it firsthand. So first, though, let's talk about Manna Food Pantry overall and your organization. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do in the community.
Sure. So, we've been in the community for over 37 years, which is hard to believe. And during that time, our basic mission of providing food to the hungry has stayed the same. What we've done is actually enhance that over the past few years. We've had a much more higher focus on providing the healthiest food we possibly can. And before COVID, we were also here at the pantry, particularly at the main pantry in Pensacola, where we saw the most people. We were actually working with organizations who were doing some wraparound services for clients as well. So mainly what we're doing is providing the healthiest food we possibly can to people in need in the form of groceries. We don't cook or anything like that. And in fair weather, which I mean before COVID, we had 3 pantries and we're operating about 9 programs with 10 partners.
Who are some of the partners and how do those programs work? How do y'all go about distributing this food to the community?
Well, in Escambia County especially, but also in Santa Rosa, we have a real challenge with food insecurity, which means that people don't have access to healthy food necessarily. Their access is very limited. And so what we've done at Manna is really try to focus on groups that are, one, doing case management or care management with their clients. So in other words, they're doing something more than just the food that we will give. But they're also, in addition to that, they're focusing on other things. And we're really particularly targeting our children in the community and also our seniors. And by the way, when I say community, I really mean Escambia and Santa Rosa counties as a whole. So what we've done is really try to take that food, which is a very valuable asset, and utilize it in combination with case management to lift that family up higher than they might be if they simply get a bag of food. Don't misunderstand me, bag of food is really important, but when you combine that resource with other resources, it just really multiplies the effect. We've got a great program called Tummy Bundles, which is a program that we do with Boys and Girls Clubs at Montclair Elementary. Boys and Girls Clubs have an after school program. They work with children after school. They're focusing on education outcomes. They're also, though, tracking BMI and body mass index. And so what we've done with them for the past several years is through Tummy Bundles, we are providing the equivalent of 7 meals plus snacks to kids who are in that after school program. And then we're getting BMI results as well as actually also grades from Boys and Girls Clubs on those children, see how they're improving. We found that food insecurity will start at very high level when the kids first start that program, and then it decreases inevitably. The food insecurity decreases and their BMIs increase. So that's just one example. A great program, great collaboration.
Yeah, you guys are definitely working with a lot of groups in the community, a lot of great programs, but I know this year has been a challenge. You've seen things shift a little bit. Tell us, going back to March, to mid-March and the COVID pandemic starting, kind of what you've seen with that, and then moving on into Sally, how it's even gone further.
Yeah, gosh, I hope that 2020 is in the rearview mirror soon enough and 2021 is better. Good grief. So at the end of March, what we did a couple of things. One is our volunteers who help us through our pantries and also here in the warehouse We asked those who were 65 and older to take a break. That was really hard on them, hard on us. We went from about 84, 85 people volunteering in our warehouse a week to 11 volunteers. So we really had, a tremendous impact on our volunteer base. The other thing that we had to do, because we stopped taking food donations at the end of March, we started back at the end of August, but that's about 5 months that we weren't taking food donations. And considering that 95 to 98% of the food we usually give out comes in through food donations, that was a real hit. So what was also happening at the same time was we could not safely give out food through our pantries because there's just not enough room aside from not having the volunteers. So what we decided to do was, a lot of people were hungry and continue to be. And so we've just expanded our partner base to work with, we had 10 partners before COVID. I think our last count was somewhere around 20, 21 partners that we are providing food to, and then they are doing the service out. So we're running still our regular partners like Tummy Bundles, but we've added a lot of other organizations that we're working with. Kim, believe it or not, the past 12 months, we have given away 651,000 pounds of food. And what we've seen is the number of people in need has skyrocketed, as well as COVID affected everyone. I mean, it affected people who ordinarily wouldn't need Manna, suddenly found they did, like wait staff, and bartenders and folks we don't usually see.
And how about once Sally struck? What kind of response did y'all have?
It just, as I told everyone, Sally just really muddied the waters, no pun intended, but I mean, it just made everything worse, right? So what happened with Sally was, again, a different population of people potentially who were suddenly needing help. And it really did compound things, because when we were getting ready to go into the hurricane, food became a little more scarce. And so now what's happening, there are a few things that are happening. One, there are folks who, have damage to their rental property, that whoever's renting, maybe they're having a hardship, and so they need food suddenly. People, again, who haven't needed food before do now. We've also found that with Sally, what happened was a lot of the small pantries in the community, a lot of faith-based organizations, they lost power, and so they lost all of their food. And so what we were able to do through the generosity of many people was we shared out several thousand pounds of food, and actually were able to shore them up. So they were able to get back open after the power came back on. So, Sally really complicated things for our community, unfortunately, and just made things worse.
Yeah, it made things worse for sure. And I've got to admit, Nadia, I did lie to you when we started. We did bring you here for a special announcement and surprise.
Oh.
So if everybody can go ahead and turn on their cameras, and I'll go around the horn and introduce everybody that we have on with us today, that's joining us today. This is part of our Cox family here in Gulf Coast. Like as you said, most of them I know. But just going around the horn, we have Dustin Ruffin. He is with our Cox Automotive Group with Mannheim, that's located out on W Street. We also have Kristen Longley, who you know, of course, from Public Affairs, and Erin Monroe Wesley. She's our Vice President of Public Affairs.
Wonderful.
Phil Higgins is with Cox Media. He's our Vice President for Cox Media for Jabama. And Sergio Penzalona, he is our Vice President of Field Operations and Maintenance.
Great.
And of course, finally is David Delleman. He is our Vice President and Market Leader here in the Gulf Coast. So now that introductions are done, I'm actually going to turn it over to David for just a minute.
All right. Hey, Dee Dee, so good to see you. This is part of our Cox family here on behalf of Cox Communications and Cox Automotive. We just want to tell you how impressed we are with the work that you guys do on a day-to-day basis. It really is super impressive how you guys really help out the most vulnerable members of our community. I think you know a little bit about Cox's history. We're thrilled to work for a company that's a 120-year-old family-owned company that really has deep roots in giving back to the communities we serve. James M. Cox, who was our founder of the company, even wrote that into his will and said, hey, as long as this company exists, you guys will give back to the communities you serve. So we also have a very giving branch of our company called the James M. Cox Foundation, and we are thrilled to share with you today that the Cox Foundation is providing a grant of $50,000 to support Manna Food Pantry and
Oh
your
my
valley
gosh.
restoration efforts.
Oh, wow. Um, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's very unprofessional for me to tear up. But oh my gosh, that is just incredible, y'all. Thank you so much. Wow.
Well, again,
Wow. That
we're
is
so proud.
wonderful.
You work with the most vulnerable members of our community. We've heard you talk for the last few minutes about how difficult a year it's been, and we want you to know we're on your side. We're here with you, and we hope this helps make the close of 2020 a little bit stronger for you.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Thank you so much. You just don't know what this means to us. This is just, wow. I can't believe this. Thank you so much. Gosh. And here I was going to get mad for you doing a surprise, but hey, you can do this anytime. So,
Love these kind of
wow,
surprises.
y'all.
Good
Thank you so
surprise.
Thank you.
much. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is just, I'm so honored. And I know everybody's going to be thrilled. And oh, wow. This will help us tremendously because we'll be able to keep doing what we're doing. One of the things that we're doing is we're actually doing home deliveries to low-income seniors right now. We're working with a church in town, and every week they're going and dropping off food at the doorstep to folks. And I never in the whole world thought I would ever say we were doing that, but we are now, and will for a while longer. And I tell you, y'all give us you give us the resources to do that. But you also, this is such a great boost for us, and it's going to make everybody feel so great. And that's a challenge these days. So thank you so much, y'all. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you, and just echo David. Thank you for everything you and your staff are doing in the community. Your staff, your volunteers, everybody that's reaching out in the community. So we were trying to find a fun way to do this, and this is kind of the way we lured you into coming on the show without even knowing. So we appreciate you letting us spring the surprise on you.
Oh, y'all, thank you. Wow, that is fantastic. Holy cow, that just makes me so happy.
Well, I'll let you go share the news. We're out of time, but I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you to everybody who joined us from the Cox family to help share the good news with Manna Food Pantry, and please continue the good work in the community.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all, and y'all stay safe and stay healthy, and thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for all you do, Dee.
Oh, thank you guys. We appreciate y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.